Yes, Madam President. This is a public hearing for the New York United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the 2022-2023 year 48. Sorry about that. Third Annual Action Plan Community Development Block Grant for $5,158,048. Home Investment Partnership Grant, Home $1,476,482. The Emergency Solution Grant, $431,664. Housing Opportunity for People with AIDS, $412,909. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is how we're going to do this. You are going to come up and you are going to state your name and your address. You will get 2 minutes. And if there's time left over, we'll add on more time. So what we're going to do, and if you have a written comment, please leave it with the stenographer. Thank you. All righty, Beatrice.
Hello, my name is Beatrice Vaida, and I live on 144 Jasper Street.
Correct.
And I'm Selena Fasulo, and I'm at 745 North Salina Street. So we're here representing Hope Print on Syracuse North Side. We're thrilled to be representing Hope Print and expressing our gratitude to the city for including our work on Syracuse's North Side in this year's proposed action plan for CBDG and home funds. Our organization has been on Syracuse North Side for 11 years with the mission to unify diverse communities rich in culture and connectedness to prosper in place. During our time in the community, we identified that one of the greatest vulnerabilities our neighbors face is the space where people and place converge. After a series of conversations starting in 2017, we officially transitioned from a social service entity to a community development organization in the fall of 2021 to better focus on the needs of our local neighborhood.
The geographic focus of our micro-neighborhood renovation work is in 30 block of Syracuse North Side boundary by North Salina, Kirkpatrick, Park Street, and East Division. These funds will underwrite significant portion of the expense associated with the co-development of neighborhood plans between local residents and stakeholders, with a special focus on housing and other integrated social determinants of healthy connected to housing, such as mobility, resource of access. Additionally, it will provide a home workshop of basic home repairs, instigate the development of 10+ new scattered site housing units, makes statements for neighborhood vision council member, and possible and more.
It is our hope and anticipation that at this time next year, we will have a fully developed and co-crafted plan. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. You can give it to the stenographer. Walt Dixie.
Good evening, Madam President and the governing body. Tonight, we're excited about Jubilee, the work that we're doing in terms of connecting our corridors between the west and the south side. I believe each of you guys received this booklet, and I look forward to you meeting with us, having this robust discussion with us. This has been over 3+ years of really strategizing and planning with our partnerships and our national partners. And we're excited to really move this process and be committed to the mayor's Syracuse neighborhood surge as well. And so I appreciate the funding and additional funding that you may consider. That's a hint from last year, okay? Thank you.
Andrea Wanders.
Good evening, counselors. Thanks so much for making time for us tonight. My name's Andrea Wandersee. I'm the executive director of NIDA. We're located at 101 Gertrude Street, and I live at 139 Cook Avenue. I'm here to really thank you for your support of all of our organizations, and specifically NIDA and our work here in the community. NIDA serves 10 census tracts on the north side. They're all located in the neighborhood revitalization strategy area. And we empower the North Side by promoting quality housing, fostering financial security for families, and supporting businesses. As a neighborhood preservation company, we strengthen our neighborhoods by celebrating the rich diversity of the North Side, and we encourage active civic engagement and advocate for community health. NEDA's tenant housing counseling program can help families stay in their homes, address unsafe and unhealthy living environments, or relocate if that is what the family wants and needs. We have seen a sharp increase in the demand for our services and anticipate a growing need in the coming year. The impact of COVID-19 on housing is an unprecedented disaster, and tenant and landlord services are more important than ever before. Through tenant and landlord counseling and relocation services, we help families find and maintain quality, affordable housing. For the first 10 months of year 47, we've served 55 people in our service area on the North Side, and we've also served 91 people from other areas of the city. We connect people with additional services they need to stabilize and support their families, including rent relief, legal services, the child tax credit, DSS, HEAP, food pantries, the list goes on. We partner with a lot of organizations, Northside Up, the Syracuse Northeast Community Center. We love you guys, thanks. We need another $6,000.
Joan Royal.
Good evening, Council. Joan Royal, 826 Euclid Ave, Westcott Community Center. Westcott wants to extend our gratitude for the continued support of CDBG funding, which is critical to the programs and services that we provide to our community. CDBG funds help fill the gaps in program expenses, support the cost of center operations, and are vital to and is a vital funding source for our programs such as our older adult services and basic needs services. It also provides match funding, which enables us to level our overall funding. CDBG support in our community enables us to serve them to live better lives, care for their families, and work toward or increase their economic stability. An example of critical programs CDBG directly impacts are older adult services. We provide services for over 500 older adults, helping them lead healthier, more socially connected lives and remain in their own homes for as long as possible. We provide breakfast, lunch, activities, transportation, exercise, and case management services. And although the pandemic has had a profound impact on older adults, we have been able to help them throughout that by reversing our model of service and taking the services to them that they needed. We also were able to provide transportation and schedule COVID vaccine series appointments for 287 older adults this past year. We're happy to announce that all older adult programs and services are now fully operation back on site at Westcott CC. Basic needs services are also critical to our community, and through our basic needs pantry, we've been able to provide over 20,000 meals to 150 families and provide hygiene supplies, cleaning products, and PPE. Our basic needs referral services enable us to meet individuals where they are and refer them to other programs and services that we might house, but if we can't meet their needs, then we refer them to services that are places that better can do that. And thank you. Oh, yes.
Brian Fay.
Good evening, Madam President and county councilors. I'm Brian Fay, the Executive Director of the Syracuse Northeast Community Center at 716 Hawley Ave. I'm a resident at 505 Crawford Ave in Syracuse. Thank you for this opportunity to speak about CDBG's powerful positive impact on our neighbors and the community. CDBG funds 20% of SNCC services and programs that include Basic Needs Pantry, Diaper Bank, Youth Services, Senior Program, Community Engagement, and our community school partnership with Dr. Weeks. CDBG funds complement and indirectly support Neighborhood Advisor, Health Connections, supported employment services that provide comprehensive holistic support that engages, grows, and connects our neighbors. CDBG support all allows us to pivot and develop programs serving our neighbors' changing needs, especially throughout this pandemic, as we maintained and in some cases expanded all programming. CDBG funding of Syracuse Northeast Community Center builds family wealth and self-sufficiency, enriching our entire community. This program year, 1,750 City of Syracuse at-home COVID tests have been distributed. 2,500 individuals have received 40,000 meals through our basic needs pantry. 1,600 meals have been served to seniors in congregate settings. Nearly 1,000 instances of senior transport have been completed. Over 500 referrals for other services have flowed through our basic needs pantry. And in 3 years, supported employment has helped over 1,200 neighbors citywide to build careers, self-resiliency, stability, and wealth. We do all of this and more through continued CDBG funding, support from the Syracuse Department of Neighborhood and Business Development, and the dedication, experience, and compassion of our incredible staff. We are grateful to be entrusted with CDBG funding that builds a more equitable and inclusive Syracuse. Thank you very much.
Gregory Dewan.
Good evening. My name is Gregory Dewan. I'm the Executive Director at the Frank H. Hiscock Legal Aid Society. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak, and thank you for our ESG funding, which funds one entire full-time attorney to help Syracuse tenants facing homelessness. Our goal is to prevent homelessness and housing instability, and it is this funding that allows us to do so. In the past 12 months, we handled 890 cases of tenants facing housing instability who reside in the city of Syracuse. And I, again, cannot thank you so much for your support, and I urge passage of this budget. This budget is also essential for our partners in the community who we refer people to and collaborate with. We collaborate closely with Volunteer Lawyers Project of Central New York, appearing in landlord-tenant court with them every day to ensure that every tenant can achieve representation in Syracuse City Court when they're facing eviction. We also rely on other community partners to refer people to when they have non-legal issues that we cannot assist with. And I think everybody who speaks before you tonight will be community partners that we deal with on a regular basis. So thank you all so much for the opportunity and for your support, and I really urge support of this budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Quaglia.
Good evening, members of the Common Council. I'm Kerry Quaglia. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of Home Headquarters at 538 Erie Boulevard West. Certainly pleased to be with you here tonight. When you invest in Home Headquarters, you're, in my opinion, actually investing in what the Community Development Block Grant Program was intended to do, because we actually run housing programs. It's not just paying for staff, it's actually getting money in the streets to fix up homes. We're pleased to be at the same funding level as last year for several important programs. The first being the Urgent Care Program. This is for major home repairs like a roof, a furnace, a sewer, sidewalks that may have been condemned. It's also where I interface with most of you as your constituents in need. You've always put them in touch with us. The RAMP program, which will $50,000 to make homes more accessible, obviously very important. The SHARP program seeks to fix minor problems before they became major problems, things like a handrail, a set of steps. We're pleased to have our neighborhood partners, NIDA and Syracuse United Neighbors here. I really think even if you use the entire block grant for the SHARP program, we'd be able to find enough takers for it. Closing cost assistance will help 50 first-time home buyers purchase that first home in the city of Syracuse. It's really important. And the only area where you're paying for staff for Home Headquarters is our housing counseling efforts, which seek to do pre-purchase counseling and then also foreclosure intervention, which is really important in these crazy times. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Sally.
Good evening, and thank you, counselors. I will not be as brief as Carrie, so I'll take you up on additional minutes if I can have it. My name is Sally Curran. I'm the Executive Director of the Volunteer Lawyers Project of Central New York. We're located at 221 South Warren Street, and I'm a proud Syracuse resident at 106 Euclid Terrace. I am here tonight to thank you for your allocation here in year 48. We use this funding for eviction prevention. I also want to acknowledge the whole NBD team and thank them for the incredible support that they provide. The city has a wonderful team. The past 2 years have been incredibly challenging, especially for tenants who cannot afford to pay their rent due to COVID-related hardships and those who have faced serious housing concerns, especially landlord harassment. VLP-CMY has adapted our services to meet client needs in a changing environment. We appear in court virtually when necessary, in person when it's there. We've created a landlord-tenant telephonic counseling service. And with the support of these ESG funds, we continue to ensure that tenants have access to an attorney every single day that court is hearing cases. I also want to recognize the continual allocation to Hiscox Legal Aid Society. Greg Dewan and his team are outstanding, and we couldn't do what we do without them being there daily, working hand in hand with us to fight for the right for people to stay in safe housing. Eviction is a very serious issue in Syracuse. With COVID-related protections ending, we are now regularly seeing 30 or more families every single day being brought to landlord-tenant court. Just yesterday, our attorneys represented 19 tenants in one day. We see time and again in court the way that tenants' rights are ignored or pushed aside when tenants do not have legal representation. And eviction, as you know, has many serious consequences: interruption in employment. Thank you so much for the time.
Time left, Sally, we'll let you come back.
Thank you so much.
So if you can give it, thank you. Rich Petrowski?
Good evening, councilors and council president. My name is Rich Pachowski, the executive director of Syracuse United Neighbors. We've been around for about 45 years. We get no funds from community development. We're proud to be independent and speak about the issues that impact our neighborhoods. We're active on the south and near west side neighborhoods. We are here today to support both SHARP and urgent care community development block grant funding at the proposed funding levels. Sun works with home headquarters in both marketing and completing applications for this agency. We see many low-income homeowners get emergency assistance for new roofs, furnace, hot water tank, and sewer repairs through urgent care. We work with homeowners to receive up to $1,500 in funds to make small repairs under SHARP. Many times, these folks get exterior steps, doors, windows, small porch repairs, etc. We also worked with home headquarters in the fall for the ARPA funding, the American Rescue money. Again, we marketed and did applications to about 60 of them. Could have used more. I'm not through yet. What I'm opposed to, oh, glad you kicked off the mic. Chose the power of the council president. Cut off Sun after 45 years so you could run home and eat your dinner. It's unfortunate that community development cut $100,000 of funding for distressed houses. We got a lot of vacant houses that are beyond land bank. We got a lot of vacant houses that are destroyed by fire, like on the corner of West Brighton and Hat Street that I gotta look at twice a day when I'm going to my house and back. It's unfortunate we got fire damaged properties that still stand years later and nothing's been done, and now community development wants to cut $100,000 out of here. That is wrong. Thank you, Council President. Hope you get your dinner.
Bob Sikowski, hope I didn't batter it too bad.
Good evening. My name is Bob Sikowski. I'm with Empire Housing and Development Corporation. We're located at 643 Park Ave. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council. Empire is a 501c3 not-for-profit agency that's dedicated to developing affordable home ownership for first-time home buyers, as well as affordable rental housing. Now, in our 28th year, Empire has worked closely with the City of Syracuse and the Common Council, as well as NBD, being awarded CDBG funding every year since 1995. During that time, we have completed nearly 600 affordable home ownership projects for first-time buyers in the City of Syracuse, in addition to redeveloping and owning the Moses DeWitt Apartments, a 37-unit apartment building that serves low-income renters. Empire greatly appreciates the Council's long-term support. We couldn't do it without you. We are pleased to be included for funding in the proposed Year 48 draft budget. But we're also at this time requesting the Council's consideration of an increase in the proposed allocation in accordance with our funding request. CDBG funds are critical to our mission, but today Empire receives 25% less than we did from CDBG in 2013, while our workload, our production, and our operating costs continue to increase each year. Without CDBG support, Empire could not complete all the work that we do. The funds support service delivery work that's essential for our projects. CDBG also helps Empire to leverage funds that we bring into the community. We secure funds from the New York State Affordable Housing Corporation for construction subsidies that are used to rehab properties in our purchase rehab program, as well as our land bank purchase rehab program. This year alone, we will bring in approximately $1.4 million in AHC subsidies for projects in Syracuse that will result in the rehab of 35 houses and 43 units. Additional funds are leveraged from other agencies such as Peace, Syracuse, Onondaga County Lead, Home Headquarters, and private lenders. The last point I'll make before I end is that we leverage $5.5 million in this program, which means that we bring in $68 for every $1 that CDBG provides.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Good evening, councilors. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to appear before you. I'm before you on behalf of Jubilee Homes. I'm currently the Workforce Development Program Coordinator for Jubilee Homes. It's a new position to me. I had worked as the Workforce Development Coordinator for SUNY OCC Jobs Plus for 24 years, but we worked over those 24 years, hand in hand, on many projects to get city residents back into the workforce. Training programs, soft skill programs, addressing issues that impact retention of employment, such as housing, which people have been talking about tonight, legal issues, custodial issues. It's been a wonderful organization, and I'm really, really glad to be able to speak with you and tell you that every time that we called on Jubilee over a period of almost 25 years, Jubilee heeded the call and came and helped us organize to bring hundreds, sometimes as many as 500 people through job fairs that were prepared with resumes, cover letters, applications are previously completed. It's great work, and I really hope that you allow us to continue. Thank you.
Mary Fuller.
Good evening. I'm Larry Fuller. I'm a board member of the Syracuse Greater Syracuse Tenants Network and a board member of the Skyline Tenants Association. I'm speaking to you tonight to urge you to increase the Tenants Network's funding from CDBG CDBG this year because of our increased activity and a new sudden need for funding for rent for our office. On May 9th, the staff of Tenants Network will become the largest it has ever been with the addition of a second VISTA volunteer. The VISTAs receive a stipend, health insurance, and other benefits from the federal VISTA program. However, our site is required to provide supervision, an office, and equipment. Since COVID, we have been providing a computer, printer, and other equipment to allow our staff to work remotely most of the time. The city's draft plan has funded us a flat $40,409. Last Friday, April 1st, we received 30 days notice that Park Central Presbyterian Church, our home for 27 years, has decided to no longer allow us office space, which was free of charge. We are looking for immediate office space, but we have no budget to pay for rent. We anticipate that the costs might be $500 a month or $6,000 a year for a small office. The Tenants Network has been discussing affiliation with another housing agency for some time now. Both our boards have agreed to explore the idea, and then crisis has accelerated our efforts to move forward. There is more to my report, which you all have, and you can read at your leisure. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I'm here as a citizen of Syracuse, New York, but also a client of Jubilee Homes for the Rights to Work program. This program provided me a right to work every day of no cost to myself during the time where I had a medical condition. I could not drive, so I had to rely on Central when the schedule was, pushed back where I couldn't catch a bus to work. I would have to Uber. This was a great financial burden to myself. Ms. Twiggy Blue offered that I could have take advantage of the Right for Works program. I found out through the community I live in, there's some elderly people there that use the program to go to the grocery store because they actually with the Right for Works program, they have another program for senior citizens that allows them to go to the grocery store. So I was, with no cost, no charge, picked up every morning, taken to work, picked up every afternoon, taken home. This actually let me save enough money once my medical condition was done to put down a nice deposit for a brand new car, which I drove here today in. And I just thank you for your time. I ask that you continuously fund this program because it does reach a lot of people. And I would not be able to provide for my family if I did not have this program because I needed it to get to work. So thank you.
Sharon Sherman.
Sharon Sherman, Greater Syracuse Tenants Network. So usually I communicate with all the members of the council before this hearing. Unfortunately, as Larry said, Friday, we really were thrown for a loop. But I do want to talk about the work we're doing with those buildings that are on the third page of your handout. These are 10 small apartment buildings scattered throughout the city of Syracuse that have miraculously been sold to an excellent owner. But they are in such terrible condition. They're all small. So our Vista volunteer and myself, and we're going to get another person in May, we have to go knock on doors. There are no meeting rooms, and all the tenants totally distrust. Can you imagine you had Longley Jones followed by Green, And now, 10 years later, your building is falling apart. 132 Martin Luther King, the ceiling came down in apartments because the roof collapsed. But this owner put the affected people in a hotel. This is the kind of owner we want in this city, and he's going to be applying for renovation money besides fixing what he can now. He's going to invest $50,000 in each unit. So we got to work with him, but it takes a lot of people power, and the last thing we need right now is having to find a place, you know, to have our office. We have been discussing with another group affiliation, and we're hoping this will move us ahead. Thank you very much.
All right, now we're going to go back to recycle. Beatrice, would you like to say anything else? Walt, would you like to say anything else? Andrea, would you like to say anything else?
No, I got my page point, thank you.
Joan?
No, I put in my thank you.
Brian?
No, thank you.
Gregory Dewan?
No, thank you.
Carrie?
No, thank you.
Sally?
Listen, folks, I have to get on my bandstand about eviction. I'm sorry. Okay, so eviction is a very serious issue in Syracuse. It's really no joking matter. I just wanted to pick up where I left off, which is to say, eviction, as you know, causes incredible disruption in people's lives. People miss their work, they miss school, they become depressed. There's an elevated rate of emergency room use, elevated long-term residential instability, and an overall increase in the risk of homelessness. Safe and affordable housing should absolutely be a fundamental right, and as should be the right to counsel in landlord-tenant matters. Our attorneys ensure that tenants have the full protection of the law when it comes to their housing, and it is critical that we reach the point of being able to provide representation to 100% of the tenants that come to court, but also it's critical that we get all the tenants to come to court. Right now in Syracuse, we have a stunningly high rate of no-show in landlord-tenant court. In most years, it's 70% of tenants that don't come because they think there's nothing that's going to be able to happen for them. And I can tell you, it does get better for people. And when they come to court, we get better outcomes for them. Having attorneys present every day in eviction court reduces the number of evictions that take place and even reduces the overall number of eviction cases filed. And in doing so, creates stability for Syracuse families. So our agency are important partners in creating pathways out of poverty and creating stability here in Syracuse. And the last thing I want to say is that our agency doesn't only do eviction. I know most of you on the council, but some I'm new to, and I just want to let you know that we're doing other important work in this community. Right now, we're addressing the Afghan evacuee arrivals. There's over 600 people here in Syracuse, and together with Hiscox, we're working on providing legal assistance to every single one of them, and it's not going to be easy, and we are looking for funding everywhere we can to make that possible. We also work with the Syracuse Financial Empowerment Center to fight debt and make sure that people can get a clean start and start developing wealth. We work with people who have criminal records to overcome the barriers to employment, and we partner with Center State, Pathways, what is the whole name of it, Helen? Pathways to Apprenticeship and other programs like that are really making huge difference here to create long-term, good-paying jobs for our community. You know, really at the end of the day, we are most focused on creating those pathways out of poverty and creating opportunity, because eviction's never going to end until people have the ability to earn good wages and support their families. Thank you so much.
April?
I just wanted to add something. I did forget to mention to the counselors, some of you know, I've been a lifelong resident of the city of Syracuse and the West End, and I think that the important work that Jubilee Homes is doing in developing employment opportunities, housing opportunities, and corridors between the west end of Syracuse and the south side is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for us to move forward as a whole. Thank you.
Larry? Nikki? Sharon? And Rich, you used all your time.
Thank you, Counselor. We sure got 4 minutes each.
You want more time, Rich, or are you done?
Nope.
All righty. I now conclude the public hearing votes.
Go get your dinner.